Hi there, my name is Greg Smith, Director of the Eastern Oregon University Small Business Development Center. Did you know the Small Business Development Center is always trying to connect employers with employees? And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be interviewing an employer who's looking to hire. They're going to talk to us about what they're looking for in an employee and what type of jobs they have available. Miss Gina Perkins, our Assistant Director, will be leading that interview. And who knows? Maybe there's a job out there that's going to be perfect for you. Gina, take it away.
Well, thank you for taking the time to have a conversation about the position that you have available at St. Stephen's. And if we could start with you both introducing yourself and sharing some background information about your organization and a bit of its culture.
Sure. Well, I'll start. My name's Betty Palmer. I'm the senior warden for St. Stephen's Episcopal in Baker City, Oregon. St. Stephen's has been around since the 1800s. It's one of the oldest known churches in the Eastern Oregon region. And so we just happen to have a body that's, although fairly small in number, is very education oriented. And so one of the things that the vestry has voted to do is to really support the preschool program that was initiated by my partner, Karen Zimmer, who will introduce herself. And we want to keep that going in this community. We believe it's a service that St. Stephen's prioritizes and wants to make sure is available for families who need it.
Wonderful. So what position is currently available?
Well, we are seeking a preschool teacher right now. That's the one we're currently advertising. But in the very near future, we're also going to be advertising for an assistant who will be there each of the days that the preschool is open.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, what qualities would a successful candidate possess?
Do you want me to answer that one? Okay. I'm Karen Zimmer, and I'm a retired teacher. Most of my experience was in preschool through second grades. And when I heard that Baker was going to have all-day kindergarten, I thought it would be nice to have a preschool as kind of a break, kind of an introduction to being part-time before going full-time. So I kind of went to the vestry board and was approved to set up a little kindergarten, and I acted as its teacher for, I think that was 2015, I'm not just sure. And now I'm happy to see the church taking on this preschool and continuing the program. Mm-hmm. And as in an answer to what we would like to see a successful employee have, is some training in early childhood education or some deep experience working with groups of children. The preschool teacher should reflect a kind and patient personality, but still be firm, fair, and friendly. A preschool teacher needs to be a good communicator with children and parents, conferences, weekly newsletters, those kinds of things. Energetic and organized, familiar with developmentally appropriate activities, with an understanding that play is a part of learning for young children, and that can't be talked up enough. And the preschool teacher needs to be willing to become familiar with curricula supplied by St. Stephen's, depending on the amount of previous experience in early childhood education. We happen to have two curriculum. We have Frog Street 3s and Starfall 4s. And
okay.
Betty, can you think of anything else that needs to be added to the list?
Well, I think just that our focus here is getting, like you said, getting kids ready for the transition to kindergarten and being able to help them socially acclimate to working around and being around other kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So what might disqualify someone from being considered?
Sure. Well, as in any position where you work with children, you have to be able to go through a fingerprinting and background check that's run through the sheriff's office. And so so having a clean background in terms of being a safe person to be around kids, around students and families, that would probably be the biggest disqualifying factor for this position.
Okay.
And I think when we say background checks, we're not worried about things like a parking ticket. It's a, more serious things.
Sure, sure. So what could a prospective candidate, or the person that you may select, what would they expect in terms of an orientation and an onboarding process?
I'll go for that first, and if Betty, you can interject. Well, having been the person that has done this preschool for a number of years, although the past year we didn't, I'm willing to do an orientation process with a new person to show them around the facility, to familiarize them with the curriculum and all of those kinds of things, or anything else that the new teacher can think of that I could help with. I would be willing to do and want to do.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to ask a little bit of a follow-up there. Would there be continued support for the position?
Well, this is something that St. Stephen's recognizes as a priority outreach program for our church. And so the vestry has made a commitment for ongoing support, both with keeping the preschool going from year to year, and also in providing support for the head teacher who works in the program. If we find that there are other professional developments that need to happen, or if there's supplies, we've got a fully outlined budget for all the things that we're prepared to do. We also have some things set aside for things that may come up that we aren't thinking through. So,
okay. And I'll follow up a little bit more with professional development. What might be professional development opportunities, and would there be any advancement opportunities with this particular position?
Well, in the position that we're currently advertising for is the head teacher position. I suppose down the line, it's possible that we would expand the program and we may have 2 sections, but we don't see this going to a full day. This is a partial day program, about 3 hours for kids, about 4 hours a day for the staff to be there. And so that's the current commitment from St. Stephen's, is to provide academic and socialization for preschoolers ages 3 through 4.
Sure.
We have outlined some professional development that we are willing to help with and that we'd like to see our staff trained in. One of them is something called conscious discipline, which the Head Start program here in town uses, and that many preschool teachers are aware of and have used and is associated with. It's just an approach toward behavioral, setting behavioral expectations and following through with students that is positive and keeps those kids learning the kinds of etiquette and behaviors that you want to see in a successful program moving forward.
Sure. Would this be a morning or afternoon program, or has that not yet been decided?
I'll let Karen talk about that. Yeah.
Okay. When I did it, we did mornings. I suppose that could be open to some change, but when we met, I think we primarily were looking at it being a morning program, 4 mornings a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any success stories you'd like to share?
Well, yes, we did. We had some fun things, big events. We considered them big events anyway. We had a Christmas pageant up in the upstairs of the church, and the parents and grandparents seemed to enjoy that a lot and to look forward to it. It was a big deal. And at the end of the year, we had a tea and buffet and a program for preschoolers and parents and grandparents, and it was very well attended. Every seat at the tables was taken. And we had good volunteer participation, parents and grandparents. We had somebody there almost every day as the volunteer. And I thought that was very successful. Although I'm seeing that could be limited, at least this fall, until the pandemic winds down a bit. So I don't know if that will be happening this fall.
Sure.
And we had very good attendance at the preschool. The kids almost always were there.
Wonderful.
One of
And
the things that we've heard from families that of the children that have been involved is that this program really prepares them well for their kindergarten experience, that they transition into a regular classroom in a full day with knowing the expectations and being able to get along and follow directions and behave and grow academically as we would want them to.
I thought so. And some children that I had that started in the 3-year-old program and came back as 4-year-olds, I was very delighted with how they had matured and the gains that they had made. And was sure that they were going on to kindergarten very well prepared, even though I might have wondered in the beginning.
So the 3s and 4s will be together, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we anticipate a class size of 10 to 12, most likely, with the two adults present every day plus volunteers.
Okay. All right. And how would an interested job seeker apply, and what application materials should they include?
Well, they need to submit a letter of interest detailing their background and experience, and along with 2 current references. And it can be mailed to St. Stephen's Preschool, Post Office Box 1146, Baker City, 97814. Or it could be emailed. And Betty, do you have that email address in front of you?
Yes, it's St. Stephen's, so ST, and then STEPHENS at questoffice.net. And I believe there's a hyphen between quest and office.
Okay.
I think
Wonderful.
so.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Well, we're really looking forward. I'm on the hiring committee, as is Betty and another person. And so we are hoping to see applications come in fairly soon. We'd like to get started on finding a teacher so that we can advertise the openings for the students.
Okay.
I do want to add this, Gina, and I thought about this earlier. You know, it may give some people pause that a church is seeking a preschool teacher. This is not an overtly Christian program. Although Christianity and Christian principles are woven in, this is a preschool. And it's going to focus on social development. It's going to focus on getting kids prepared for kindergarten. It's going to focus on academics. We do like to see Christian principles woven in, but it's not an overtly Christian academic program.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Oh, that was a good point that Betty was making, and I usually tried to explain that to parents too. We did things that are Christian-based, like the Christmas pageant and those kinds of things, but we didn't teach a Bible class.
Okay. Do you have an anticipated closing date for the position, or will it be open until filled?
We're hoping to get applications turned in within the next 3 weeks, and we'd like to be able to make a decision by the end of March. So, because we will be advertising for preschool slots in March.
Wonderful, wonderful. One last thing, what is the cost? Because someone may be interested in that with this interview. So what is the cost for a student? And are there scholarships available, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're planning on offering preschool 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, for 3 hours a day, knowing that some kids are going to be dropped off a little bit before, and some kids may take a little while to get out the door at the end of the session. And that, so we're looking at $150 to $160 per month.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, thank you, ladies, and appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully we can send some good applicants your way.
Right.
Thank you,
Gina.
Take care.
You too.